Too many guys really don't understand the importance of emotions in the attraction process with a woman. They think that emotions are maybe a weakness or just kind of like this thing that just doesn't really deserve much attention. And it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, emotions, whatever, right? But they don't understand the significance of the emotional process, emotional regulation, emotional intelligence to attracting women. So if I take this angle simply because there are so many guys that literally do not see the value of emotions or just don't understand what emotions even are or how to process them. They don't understand the staggering depth to which they suppress their emotions and the intelligence that arises within that emotion, because where's the emotion coming from? It bubbles up from your unconscious. And as we know, the unconscious, amounts to what, like 95, 97%, at least 95% of who you are, right? Only like a tiny little fraction of that is your conscious mind. So emotions hold wisdom, they hold intelligence. They're things that your subconscious, your unconscious is trying to tell you, right? And here's the thing about that is that your unconscious mind processes information so much faster and so much better than your conscious mind ever will. Your conscious mind works like in a linear fashion, whereas your unconscious mind can absorb information, much more information. First off, it has like a greater bandwidth, but also it processes that information quicker and it sends it to you as a feeling, as an emotion, right? And if you understand what that emotion is saying, yes, logically you need to understand it, but rather get to the point where you just feel the emotion and you know what it means, then you have direct access to that intelligence. So in the context of approaching women or connecting with a woman, creating attraction with a woman, this is invaluable. This is not an option. It's not an option to not have this and be able to have success, not just in the attraction. It's so important for the attraction, but let's assume for a second that you're able to attract a woman without being in touch with your emotions and without understanding them. Even if that's the case, you will really, really struggle to actually sustain that relationship and have a passionate, loving relationship with that woman. Okay, so even if you somehow manage to attract a woman, it's even more important. The emotional understanding your emotions and emotional intelligence is even more important for actually sustaining that relationship and actually having a fulfilling, passionate, loving, growing relationship with that woman, with that partner. Okay, so again, I take this angle because it's sort of like the carrot that I'm dangling in front of your head because a lot of guys, unfortunately, like unless they're pushed to this point of pain, right? Because pain is such a huge motivator. Unless they're pushed to the point like that, like, let me just say it like this. Most of the clients that come to me who are not in touch with their emotions isn't because they're like, oh, Danny, I'm not in touch with my emotions. I think that would be valuable for me. Like, can you show me how to do that? No, instead, it's actually like, I can't attract women and I don't really know why or how. I don't get what I'm doing wrong. And then I have to show them that it's in large part, not everything. There's more to this, but this is a big piece of it. This is a big cornerstone. Then I have to show them and teach them that this actually has to do with your lack of being in touch with your emotions, right? And that's kind of how then they start to see, oh, okay, then there's something to it. But it's only because the result that they want, I'm showing you how emotional intelligence is connected to that carrot, right? Okay, so with that premise, let me go into exactly why, right? So let's think about the yin yang symbol, right? Like everyone knows the yin yang symbol. It's, the little white with the black dot, the black with the white dot. And specifically, I want to focus on those points of the black and the white dot because even the most masculine man, right? If he lacks that, let's say that the white is the masculine and the black is the feminine, right? Even the most masculine guy, if he lacks that black point, which is actually impossible. You can't lack that black point. Like, everyone has it, right? But if he doesn't nurture it, he doesn't understand it, he doesn't respect it, and he's constantly suppressing that little black dot of feminine energy within himself, which feminine energy is connected to emotions, that is like the language of the feminine, then he won't be able to connect with a woman, because she herself is that black dot, but she's not the black dot. She's like the entire black little part of it, right? Of the other side of the yin yang symbol. She herself has a little white dot of masculine energy. And if she doesn't have that, then she won't be able to connect to a man, into the masculine energy. And in fact, it'd be very challenging for her unless she's in a relationship and completely surrenders 100%. Like, I mean, it's basically like a child at that point, like a little girl, right? Who maybe doesn't have the masculine energy cultivated enough inside of her to take care of herself away from her daddy. It'd be the same thing. But is that the kind of relationship that you want? I don't. I want an empowered woman. I want a woman who is confident in herself, who can take care of her own shit, who doesn't need me, and then who consciously chooses to surrender into her feminine energy around me because she trusts me. But it's more of a game that we play because it just works. It just makes sense. And because we want to, because we identify with those energies. I identify with the masculine energy, she identifies with the feminine energy, and we actively work to nurture that so that in the relationship there is more attraction. Because what creates attraction in the first place is polarity. If you lack polarity of the masculine and the feminine, then you have neutrality. And attraction and fiery passion does not exist in neutrality. Okay, that's kind of getting off topic. That's a separate thing, and I have to be a different video. But back to why it creates, why understanding your emotions creates attraction, why it's necessary for creating attraction, is because that little black dot is like your emotions, let's just say, because emotions is the language of the feminine energy, okay? It's the language of the feminine energy. Just think about it like that, all right? Like, you can think of like words as the language of the masculine energy, or even numbers as as a language of the masculine energy, right? These are very descriptive, very like linear. There's no like room for interpretation there. It's like, it's either a 2 or it's a 1. It's not like this. I mean, of course you have numbers in between that, but you know what I mean? It's like a very set number, right? Unless, of course, you have like an infinite irrational number, right? Like pi or something like that. And then you see like the little black dot in the masculine, right? Like the infinity of that pi would be like the black dot of numbers, of the language of the masculine. Anyways, I'm getting kind of heady here, and I don't know if I'm losing you guys, but my whole point in saying this is that if you don't understand that little black dot of emotions and feminine energy inside of yourself, there is no way you can understand the other half of the yin yang symbol, which is the feminine energy. There's no way that you can understand the feminine energy, because you don't know what the feminine energy needs, what it craves, what it desires, what it absolutely demands from the masculine in order to be feminine in the first place, and to feel fulfilled and to feel attracted. Because if you don't understand that, then if you don't have that connection to your emotions, to that little black dot inside of you, there's just no way you will understand. How would you? If a woman didn't have a single ounce of masculine energy inside of her, how could she understand you as a masculine guy? She wouldn't understand. She'd be like, why the fuck is this dude so just like rational, so logical, so like explicit, like why does he, she wouldn't understand where you're coming from. She just wouldn't understand, like, why does he even want to go to the gym and get muscles? Why does he want to work on his passion and like and pursue that and have like achievement and all this stuff? Like, she wouldn't understand that if she didn't have any of the masculine energy. Don't you want a woman that understands you? Similarly, a woman wants a man that understands her. And the only way you can do that is by nurturing and cultivating your understanding of the feminine energy. And as a subset of the feminine energy is particularly your emotions. Okay. And now to get more specific and practical, because this is all kind of philosophy, but attraction in of itself is an emotional experience. Like, do you get that? Because if you don't, like, if that hasn't really clicked for you, you can't just understand that logically. You have to truly, it has to click. Like, you have to be like, oh, that makes sense. Attraction is an emotional process. It is an emotional state. So if you don't know how to generate emotional states within yourself first, and then as a result within a woman, because you can transfer that. Right? That's the thing, is that you can actually transfer emotional states. I mean, this is why if like you're feeling down and you go hang out with your friends and they're like, hey, what's up, bro? You know, they're like hyping you up or whatever. Like you'll start to pick up that energy, and it's just like, yeah, man. Yeah, fuck it. Right? So you need to learn how to do that first. You need to learn how to generate the emotional state that you desire in yourself first. In this case, if it was like sexual attraction, you need to learn how to embody that feeling of arousal, that feeling of sexual energy, and contain it within yourself, right? Not just let it run rampant, because that's how you get creepy. That's because a woman can feel if a man is, it's not hard for a man to feel sexual energy around a woman, but what's more challenging is for him to contain that energy and then to transfer it to her in a socially calibrated, intelligent way. And when you transfer that energy and you bring her into that energy, then you create this attraction. Then you actually can create this little bubble, right, of an emotional state that is happening under the surface. If anybody else, if a man or a woman with not a lot of emotional intelligence were looking at you guys talking, they wouldn't necessarily be able to tell there even is attraction happening there. Now, if they are socially in tune and emotionally intelligent, then they would, because they'd be able to detect what's going on under the surface. But the reason I say that is because it doesn't matter how it looks like on the outside. It only matters what is happening for you in your body and what is happening for her in her body. And when you become emotionally intelligent enough and socially calibrated enough to be able to understand that and to feel that, that's not something you can think or know. That's something you feel, which is an emotional state. Again, you have to feel that. And when you can feel that and you know that she is feeling that, well, then that's it, right? That's the connection. That's the attraction. If she's not feeling it, then you know that she either doesn't find you attractive for whatever reason, and that's going to happen. There's just women out there that don't find me attractive for whatever reason, and it doesn't matter. I'm not even going to entertain why or think why or come up with, because it doesn't matter. It's just the way that it is. Okay, let that one go. There are others who do find me attractive. There's others who do find you attractive, okay? So there's only two things you can do, really, when a woman doesn't find you attractive, is learn how to generate more attraction, and if it still doesn't work, then just let it go. But that's necessary. You need to know like what to do in order to generate attraction. Otherwise, then you might just chalk it up to no girl finds me attractive. But there's factors that you can control. That'll have to be for a different video. Or that she does find you attractive and you can feel that, but you need to know that so you can act according to that. You can respond to her in a calibrated way. You can respond to her attraction in a calibrated way to lead the interaction. Right? But if you don't have the ability to detect whether a woman is truly attracted to you or what her emotional state is, then you can't lead, and you don't know, you're going to be in the dark. Okay. So I hope that makes you guys understand the importance of the emotions and feeling and tapping into. We'll go deeper into this as time progresses, but that's just a little intro to understanding that little black dot inside you and why it's so damn important to connecting to the feminine energy.